So, you put as much fuel to the fire as Oilers media, NHL media like Elliotte Friedman and Jeff Marek, and of course Oilers fans have put on the fire that is potential Erik Karlsson trade rumors for the Edmonton Oilers, and you get this mess of a Monday that we currently find ourselves in right now, my friends. It's been another crazy day here in Oilers land, and I'm ready to break it all down for you, so let's get to it. This is Dolynny TV. Great to have you along for another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. Of course, if rumors aren't your thing, maybe now is the time to tune out before I throw too much at you, but it's been another big day, so let's get into it. But before we go there, I just want to hit up this one last housekeeping note, of course, which is hitting that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We just crossed this afternoon 10,550 crazy Oilers fans doing their thing here on Dolynny TV, and I'd love to add that number here by adding you into this whole crop of big old Oilers fans we've put together here on the channel. So without further ado, let's get rid of that likes button there and let's pull this up here. So we're talking about Erik Karlsson over the course of the weekend, and it's, well, they want 3 firsts, they want this, they want, obviously the Oilers have to give up players to make the cap situation work, and obviously too, who do you give up, how do you give them up, and how does it all fit together? Well, today everybody and their dog has taken to Twitter to talk about Bob Stauffer's proposed trade offer to the San Jose Sharks, in which he thinks the Oilers offer would look like this. This was mentioned on Oilers Now this afternoon. Dustin Nielsen recapped it with a fuller tweet, but I don't need to sit here and talk about that. I just needed this of it right here. A first in 2023, Bouchard, Bourgault, Barrie, and Puljujarvi. So what's important here is, right, you break this down how it looks. And this is kind of the face value of where we're going with all this. A first, Bouchard and Bourgault give the San Jose Sharks the 3 first-round picks they're looking for. Barrie and Puljujarvi give you $3.5 million in salary, so the San Jose Sharks can retain $4 million. That's how this math all works out. And the problem is here for San Jose, and I'm going to get right into it, right? We're 2.5 minutes into the video, is Mark Spector. I'll talk about his article later today, or earlier today, later in the video, but it's fantasy land. At this point, this Oilers trade is fantasy land. And why is that an important term? Well, think about this. What team in their right mind would retain $4 million worth of salary for this package? I mean, no matter who you're trading, no matter what you're giving up, I don't think San Jose would be rushing out to retain $4 million over the next 4 years for a package like this. Obviously, a first, Bouchard and Bourgault. Hey, I mean, if they all turn out the way they're supposed to, I guess it's done and dusted exactly how you want it. But then comes the hard part, is obviously still fitting Erik Karlsson in under the cap for the next 4 years as well. So that's where we'll break this down into another section. But before I get too rambly, what I want to do here is move into news item, and kind of where we go. So that's your package. It was mentioned over the weekend, and it was mentioned over the course of today, and this is another big story outside of the Bob Stauffer trade package, is, of course, the Elliotte Friedman and Jeff Marek 32 Thoughts podcast, mentioning the fact that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl don't want a hard-nosed, bang-it-off-the-glass defenseman for this team. They want a puck mover who can zip it up the ice and distribute as well as they can. And that kind of guy is Erik Karlsson. He's the best one of that format available on the trade market right now. And what was mentioned very heavily across every piece of media you can possibly find today referencing that tidbit is the fact that for the Oilers, if your captain and your other franchise player are tired of being in this city without a Stanley Cup, to some extent, I think that is what every single fan outside of an Oilers fan, and most Oilers fans would say that, man, we're not going to be able to keep Connor and Leon forever if they don't start winning cups here. So they want to win a cup, and that's what they're saying it's going to take. Hey, if we get Erik Karlsson or a guy like Erik Karlsson, we can do it. We can get this done. And if they know what they need to get it done, I guess, hey, who's to say they're wrong, right? They're Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the best two players the NHL has seen since Crosby and Ovechkin. So I guess, hey, I guess we got an answer right there. So in that format, you would say that Ken Holland owes it to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to at least explore it to the best of his abilities. And that's where we'll move into this Fantasyland situation here, right? Connor and Leon want Erik Karlsson. That has been made mention of, and that is a known fact now. But the Fantasyland situation here for Mark Spector is, you look at this right now, is, again, get back to this. His whole article was, look, this is what you'd have to give up to make straight salary work. This is what you'd have to give up to just make the $4 million work. And you know what? The $4 million retention, as I said, is over the next 4 years each season. So it's $16 million over the next 4 years. That's not going to work for the San Jose Sharks. Name a Pacific Division rival that's willing to mortgage $4 million of their salary cap for the next 4 years for Bouchard, Bourgault, if the Oilers win the cup like Connor and Leon think they can with Karlsson, a 32nd overall pick in this year's draft, Tyson Barrie for the next 2 years, and Jesse Puljujarvi, who they need to re-sign probably for cheaper than $3 million, but they need to re-sign still. I don't know how you can possibly think the San Jose Sharks are going to go $4 million, here you go. So this is where it really comes down to the meat and potatoes of the deal for everybody involved, is how do you make this work the way you need to have it happen? And I think, again, we've heard kind of a lot of mention this year of the third-party broker. This is my final point, and obviously a big one here where I'm going to have to spitball a lot of ideas very quickly. But a third-party broker is going to be required for the Oilers to make any kind of deal. So right now, this is what the cost is to the San Jose Sharks, right? We want Karlsson from you, the San Jose Sharks. This is where the Oilers will have to pull it in and say, here's what we're giving you. That's what they're giving to the San Jose Sharks. Now, obviously, right, is you have to somehow get down to at least $7.5 million for Karlsson as max cap hit. So at 11.5, which is where he's at right now, if you get the Sharks to retain 25%, or even, I guess, 25%. Let's just say 25%, or can I find even a number like 76% or 76, so 24%. You're roughly looking at $8.75 million cap hit. Cool. So that's you got 24% retained on Karlsson for giving up this package. That's what this package realistically could probably get you, because you're looking at less than $3 million, which is in that realm of what they're retaining on Brett Burns for the next few years. So you've cut that cost from under, or at $4 million, to under $3 million. Now you go out there and find that third-party broker that's willing to retain whatever you need to get that extra $1 million off, right? You just need a third-party broker to retain $1.25 million. That's what you're looking at. So you need the Sharks to retain 2.75, and you need somebody else to retain. Sorry, I can't talk. I've had to redo this video about 8 times, and I knew this was going to be the hardest part. Retain 1.25 to 1.5 million for the next 4 years. So if the Oilers somehow find a way to squeeze a deal in for the Arizona Coyotes in this situation, I think that's possible. There's not a lot of teams that can potentially squeeze a deal here for salary cap retention just straight up, but the third-party broker, right, whether it be run through a team like the Buffalo Sabres, the Arizona Coyotes, the Anaheim Ducks, the Detroit Red Wings, or as far as even the Chicago Blackhawks, there's all teams on there. The Oilers have some kind of interest in something on that team as well. But realistically, if you're trading with the San Jose Sharks, you're looking just to find a third-party broker, probably in one of those bottom 5 teams in the salary cap realm, and try and make something happen. Obviously, I think Buffalo or Arizona would love to gain another asset for retaining $1.25 million on Erik Karlsson, and that's where it kind of all comes together for the Oilers. This is only fantasy land if the Oilers go straight up with the San Jose Sharks. If they start getting creative and really want to force the issue, there is good potential that they can make this happen. It's just a matter of, are you comfortable giving up a first, Bouchard, Bourgault, Barrie, and Puljujarvi? Because to my extent, I'm not. I'd rather give up something else than Bouchard, but if that's the cost of the deal, if that's the cost of a Stanley Cup, who am I to say that's too much, right? If that's what it takes to be downtown Edmonton in the Ice District with 1 million plus people just hanging around enjoying an Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup in the city of Edmonton in late June, who am I to say that that is too much to pay for that? Because it's not my money, not my players. End of the day, I'll watch this team no matter how they're doing. I watched them for 15 years before they actually really did anything in the playoffs again. So, I guess, right? Check it out. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon. Sorry the last little bit got a little scrambly, but there's a lot going on there that I had to keep oriented in my head. I don't write notes. Notes make it too much complicated. I am up on out of here. If I can figure out where my mouse is at. Sorry.